Still a Nation Live. It's your boy Sanders Tisdale.
Somber James Owen.
Hey, like we said, a lot of things to talk about. One of the main things we're going to talk about as well as Damar Hamlin for the Buffalo Bills, young safety. This guy, seeing the things that's happened. If you're living under a rock, you got to know big things happened last night, the Steelers versus the Bengals. And also, we're going to jump from that, James. We're going to talk about the huge win to Pittsburgh, going down into Baltimore, huge game win for them as well. And is it playoffs a reality for Pittsburgh Steelers, James?
Yeah, playoffs, and we'll talk about that right after this. Welcome back, Steel Nation Live. James Owen with my partner here, Sanders Tisdale. Start off the show on a somber note. If we all, like you said, Sanders, unless you're living under a rock, you don't know exactly what's going on. Fan Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills corner safety, injured last night in Cincinnati, just doing his thing. It was a scary moment for everybody. I mean, this was one of the things that you don't really. You kind of expect, people are going to get hurt. It's football, but you don't expect this type of injury, this type of response by the medical team, the players huddling around. And this was just a scary, scary moment. It's still scary. I mean, prayers and well wishes, they do help. It's obvious at the condition that Damar was in last night. He is still in critical condition. We don't really know the outcome at this moment. But with that being said, it doesn't hurt to keep on praying for this young guy. He's not a Pittsburgh Steeler, but he's a human being. And he's a son, he's a father, he's a brother, he's a friend, he's a teammate. He's a brother. I mean, not just the Buffalo Bill players, but, once you get in the league, you're all brothers and sisters, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the huge thing right there. When you're seeing, like we see on the screen, prayers for Damar and his family, it's huge when you see the outpouring of people who don't even really know sports, for them to see and recognize that this is what happened. It happened last night, and for him to make just a basic routine tackle, but that shows how things can happen, James. Well, not just happen, but happen out of nowhere and affect you for the rest of your life. Hopefully, from what we've seen on the field from this situation, I mean, we know just about as much as everybody else knows, but the fact is that a young guy like that to make the routine tackle and lay on the field and have to have CPR done on him, I mean, it was a heart-sombering thing. I mean, I went to bed just hoping that I didn't wake up and hearing bad news. There's a lot of bad things going around in the world today, and James, just to hear a guy like that, 24 years old.
Yeah, and looking at the situation, like you said, in what was the hard part, not only, just seeing it happen right there before your eyes, the not knowing, the delay, when there's no updates. I mean, and the wheels start turning, and then you start thinking the worst case scenarios of, okay, they're not saying anything. Is it because something really bad happened? He took a turn for the worst. He didn't make it. And they're trying to figure out how to politically correctly bring this out. How what do you do? And now when the not knowing and the speculations of what might be happening, and like I said, the first thing, it's human nature. What we do is we go right for the worst case scenarios. Yeah, that's it, and we don't think about anything else. And we talked offline, and we don't know if it's the jungle, but if you look back in the history, the NFL of the past 10, 15 years, these situations have only been happening in Cincinnati. Yeah. And we talked about Antonio Brown. Right. All right. We talked about Ryan Shazier, Tua, and now Damar. I mean, what is it with that stadium? Is it cursed or thankfully all the players I mentioned who got hurt are alive right now. But it makes you wonder about, is it the field? Is it the stadium? Who knows? I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, like jinxes and curses and all that stuff, it just seems kind of odd that you don't hear about this in any other stadiums. People do get hurt, players do get hurt, but not to this level where you're in a life death situation. You kind of forget, you know, the you got to throw that game out the window.
Yeah.
And you got to look at it. You got to look at it two sides. All right. There was a lot of talk last night about, how could you continue the game? How could you even think about it? And I'm going to play devil's advocate here. And I'm totally not, I'm not on that side, but you have to think about it the instant. You don't really know what's going on. Players get hurt all the time. Sometimes they have to leave on a stretcher. Sometimes they're on their own, or whatever. But the focus is the football game, and it is what it is. If we don't know the exact status or the injury of the player. So by them saying, okay, we're going to give him 5 minutes, we're going to warm up, we're going to see what's going on right there. You don't know what exactly is happening. So you're still in football mode. And not to saying his life is meaningless, but if you look at the big picture, now I'm just the other side of the coin, folks. No hate mail, no hate calls or anything like this. I'm all for stopping the game. I put it on Facebook. They should have stopped the game. They did it. They should have canceled it. They did it. But at the beginning, when you're seeing everything going on, the wheels are turning, hope he's okay. Let's get this thing going. And it's a crucial game. It's a high stakes game. A lot of playoff contentions can result from the outcome of this game. So a lot is on the line. And it wasn't that there was, insensitivity to what was going on at hand, but you have to realize what was going on when this happened. But as the nature of as the injury progressed and the more information was known, of course, you can't play that. You can't expect players to go out there. And thank God for, the coaches getting together. I really do believe that, the Goodell would have kept on playing that game. I honestly do think that the coaches did get together and they put their heads together. They said, we're not playing this game, and, fine us, suspend us, whatever. I think that was the outcome. It was a great decision by both coaches. When you get something this extreme, that you have to put the football down, put the cleats up,
Right.
and do the right thing for not only for the player who was injured, but their families and their friends around.
Yeah. It's amazing. And the things you see, let's see what we have here. We had somebody writing on the board. Let's see if I can get her in there. A lot of people still saying prayers for DeMar. And it's a huge thing. Like I said, for a young guy like that, sustain an injury off of something that was kind of a freak mishap. And kudos to the Buffalo Bills, kudos to the Bengals, kudos to these guys saying, you know what, this is bigger than the game. You guys out there watching, you guys in the stand, it is what it is. You paid your money, but money isn't everything like people always make it out to be. And they did the correct thing by stopping the game. And we had somebody wrote on the board. It said they actually released a statement saying they never said for players to warm up. I read that a few moments ago, and that must be an NFL release. And the thing about it is, yeah, they all did the correct thing. Don't take the field. Support your players. Support the guy that's right next to you, 24 years old, this young kid. And I hope to God everything works out for him. I kept hearing different things. I've heard that his vitals have returned to normal. So it's kind of like they got him almost in a coma type state. I don't know. I mean, these are things I've been hearing. I don't know how true they are or true they're not. But the thing about it is, no matter what it is, it's a young guy that's vying for a job. It's a young guy that's out there struggling, trying to make it in the NFL. And for something freaky like this to happen, it's amazing. And much love to us, from us to them or to him, the Buffalo Bills organization, because those are guys who work more closely with them than anybody else, and to his family, especially his mother, who also I read thanked the ambulance crew and all the first responders that were out there trying to make, get him to where he needed to be so they can transport him to UC Medical and try to work on him from there. And, for that, hopefully that this guy is still alive. And I pray for him. I pray for his family. and they did the right thing. And in piggybacking off of that as well, the Steelers, not the Steelers, excuse me, the Bills right now, there's no sense right now for the NFL to try to reschedule that game at the moment. So we don't know what's happening there, and which is a good thing. Take that time. You got to digest what happened, find out what happened, move from there, either find out if you're going to go forward with the game. I hate to say it, but is it going to be called a tie game? I don't know what you're going to do, but something's got to be done either way, and it's got to be done with the players in the right frame of mind, because they are affected from this. You go to somewhere and you see you don't want to go to a game and see not a game, but even a guy you work with, even if you don't like him, but to watch this guy almost stroke out in front of you, that affects you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it does, because you like, is it my turn? Is it going to happen to me? And once you start second guessing yourself, that's when you make mistakes. And when I say make mistakes, I'm not talking about just dropping passes or fumbling. I'm talking about getting hit in the wrong way. But I do believe, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right though. But Damar is a Pennsylvania native, went to University of Pittsburgh, and started a charity that he wanted to raise at least $2,500. And the last I checked, I think his charity's up to $3-point-something million. But you know what, folks? I mean, there's a lot of other charities out there. Don't wait until something bad like this happens before you want to step up and throw a little cash into the pot there. It's very thoughtful and it's great, but folks, come on. If you just don't donate because somebody is on life support right now, you should donate irregardless. But thanks to everybody donating, Sanders, like $2,500 to $3 million. I mean, that's amazing. And it just shows that it can be done.
Right. It's a good thing to see, especially, like I said, it's in today's environment. You got people
me environment,
pickering at each other, and for it to go to this level and watch how this has just affected not just the guy who's kind of a hardened person or not, one that is. Right. That it affects you, because just to see it on TV and just to watch the mood and the mode of the whole game, it was just something that we watched. And much love to him, much love to Hamlin, to your family, everything. Again, is much love here from Steeler Nation Live.
Absolutely. Our prayers are going out there. We're putting everything over the website, and go to our website, www.steelernationlive.com. Search us on YouTube, Steeler Nation Live 201. If you missed our shows, our past shows, you want to look up archives. Great shows from the blast from the past there, Sanders, if you got nothing else to do. And we're just waiting for Mike Logan to come on. We got him on the camera right there. So in a few seconds, we're going to grab former Super Bowl champion of Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Mike Logan to the show, Steeler Nation Live. And then we'll bring him on, folks. Great entertainment right here. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, that's one of the main things we want to talk about as well. And we're to that point right now. And also, I don't know if Mike is set up yet, but Mike, just give me the thumbs up whenever you're okay. Okay.
We got the thumbs up.
Got the thumbs up, because I know he was busy moving around. That's my man. All right, guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready to go over to Mike as well. All right, let me see. Get him on there. Oh, kind of had you in there. There you go. There we go.
Mike Logan, welcome to Steeler Nation Live.
Appreciate you having me, man. I had to get away from my 6-year-old, my 4-year-old right now. So we got a window before they come in and start disrupting.
Yeah, that's all right. We had Max Starks on not too long ago, and he was eating dinner with his kids. And we love family. It's all about family here. So if they want to get on the show too, hey, that's fine with us over here at Steeler Nation Live, Mike.
I won't let them hear that, because they'll take it over. I'll be an afterthought in this interview after that.
So Mike, let's open up. All right, let's get to the meat and potatoes right here. You, Super Bowl champion Pittsburgh Steelers, back in the day when football was football. I mean, there were times that you were on the field where you either hit someone or you got hit. And look at what happened last night. How does that affect you as a former player playing that position and seeing this all unfold?
I would admit I'm shook up, man. I know the young man. I know his family. One of my good friends, Vaughn Rivers, trains and mentors DeMar. I've seen him down at the facilities many of times, and crossed paths with him, his family, other guys that he's close with. I've coached. So last night I was kind of messed up, man. I was reflecting a lot. I got a lot of messages, a lot of calls from friends and family who were just checking in, to, give prayers, show gratitude, and just tell me, that they cared about me and they were, in a different perspective now, thinking about, back when I played and times when I had concussions or stingers in the neck or,
wow.
just injuries. So I was in a real weird place last night as it was unfolding. And I went through a plethora of emotions, bro. Like, really, like, just emotional roller coaster. I was on a Spaces call with some friends, and they were trying to, break the mood up a little bit to try to get me to focus on some other things, but I couldn't shake it. So I must admit, I was kind of shook up last night, and it really put me into a reflection period and brought up all the questions that people asked you. Would you do it again? Will you let your kids play football? So I was just all over the place yesterday, and I think rightfully so, because even though we play in a violent game and we know the nature of it, you never expect something like that to happen. And I think that was the first for many people, and it kind of shook everybody up.
Yeah, Mike, that was a crazy thing to see, and especially I don't know if you're watching the game yourself, and you're looking at the TV, man, and you looked at the mood of everything. I mean, you could hear a pin drop, brother. I
Right.
mean, that was nuts. So
Yeah.
I'm watching the game last night, and I was just terrified in my mind, that I'm Steelers hard to the core, but this is beyond football, brother. This
Yeah.
is the health and the mental state of an individual, a young guy, 24 years old, and just being that terrified thing in my head. I don't know, maybe that affected the way I slept last night. Just wondering if I'm going to wake up in the morning and hear the news, And thank God I didn't hear anything yet. I'm just hoping everything is going in a positive direction. But just like you said, the weary thing that stays on your mind, it affects you, brother.
Yeah, it definitely does, man. I mean, last night, during my prayer time, definitely extra prayers up for him, and just the family, being in Pittsburgh and seeing his family, seeing people that he knows, young guys that he hung out with, how the trauma is going to be everlasting. You know what I mean? There's so much more to it. It blew my mind. And first of all, I wasn't watching the game because I play fantasy football. I'm in a championship in one of my leagues, in my Yoo-Hoo league, and I got Knox playing at tight end, and he has Burrow, and I got like a 10-point lead on him. So I was like, man, I'm scared to watch the game because I really don't want to lose this championship.
Right.
Getting into all that superstition and all that type of stuff.
Yep, that's me.
So I just happened to look at the page to see if it refreshed, and it said game postponed. And right away, I'm thinking like, okay, what's happened, what's transpired? And then when I turned it on, to see the emotion of the players and the shocking look on the fans' face really threw me for a loop. That threw me for a loop.
Bengals fans too. I mean,
yeah,
you had over what, 65,000 people in that stadium, not including players and coaches and everything, and you could hear a mouse burp. I mean, it was silent. And right off the bat, I mean, usually sometimes there's weather that stops the game, you postpone it, there's lightning strikes, whatever. But you don't expect to turn the TV on and see something to this magnitude.
Right.
So Mike, let me ask you this. As a former player who's been through it all, number one, how do you get past this? Now we're saying he's going to recover fully, because that, I'm telling you, I got the vibe, I got the chills right now. I'm pretty sure he's good. I pray and hopefully he's come back, 100%. How do you get past this? How do you put them cleats back on? How do you get that helmet back on and go out there? And would you do it?
Let me say this. I mean, football will go on. I don't know how, though. To see something like that live, for the Bills and for the Bengals. I mean, we've had an experience close to that with Ryan Shazier here in Pittsburgh.
Right.
But just the manner in which, DeMar went down, the rush of the EMS staff, and to perform CPR right on the field, this is going to be the opening of the mental health aspect that everybody is talking about right now.
Yep.
This is going to open up so many doors about mental health and athletes and everyone, because, I just went through the first bout that I acknowledged of anxiety after I had COVID.
Right.
Never known, I've had anxiety before, never thought it was anything serious, never thought that it was a mental health issue with me, but it's changed my life. It's changed my life after I had COVID and started experiencing severe anxiety. I mean, to the point where, I do public speaking and I couldn't speak.
Wow.
So,
Oh, yeah.
It's going to open up those doors. It's going to, there's going to be an abundance of information coming. There's going to be times when athletes are going to take breaks, and I think the fans are going to have to understand that now. They talk about the resting period of NBA players and the workload times when they come off. I think you're going to see more athletes taking time off, more athletes reluctant to go on the field, more athletes in the NFL game maybe retiring earlier, or I think this is going to be a drastic change to the NFL, but football will go on. I don't know how they'll do it, but it will go on.
Now, you know what? One thing we want to ask you, Mike, is the fact that I read a story, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that Kenny Pickett kind of touched you a certain way. I don't know if he handed gloves off to a family member of yours or something like that.
Yes, he did. So I went down to the Atlanta Falcons Pittsburgh Steelers game, and I sat with some family of mine, and we were right in a suite right above the tunnel where the guys walk out. And there was everybody's asking me questions about Kenny, and I said, I only crossed paths with him a couple of times, but he's a Pitt guy, I'm a West Virginia guy, so
yeah, right.
Oh boy,
that's kind of rough right there. And as he's walking off the field after that game, and it was a great performance, he's like beelining to us, and I'm like, "Hey, Kenny, what's up, man?" And he's looking up. And he just hands these gloves to my nephew, and my nephew goes crazy, man. He's like jumping up and down, and like, and I'm like, and I'm excited for him. But then, that Pitt West Virginia rival backyard brawl came back into my mind. And I'm like, hold on, I'm your uncle. I'm sitting here with you, man, watching the game. You ain't that excited to see me. No, but it was great. It was awesome. Heck of a young man. I'm happy that he's having the success. And, I think he's who the Pittsburgh Steelers need him to be right now.
Right. I was going to ask you about him, too. What's your thought on him? And you played with a great quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger back in the day. But
Right.
now you're looking at a guy who's trying to succeed him.
Right.
And, I mean, your true thoughts of him, I think he actually, to me, seemed like he's starting to take the emerge. He's starting to take that step forward. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I love his confidence. I love his ability to put the bad plays behind him and, get back to work. I do think there was too many expectations on him. I mean, you're coming in to take over for a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I thought that there was too many expectations on him. I said that early in the year. People asked me my opinion. Should they just throw him in there? I said, no, let him kind of work him in. He kind of got thrust in kind of earlier than I may have put him in there. But I think he's developing on the go. And I think you get that experience. That's the best experience is just being in there and learning on the fly. And he seems to have got it. I would like to see him develop more, being able to throw the entire route tree. And I think with Pickens out there, that young man is going to improve his game. I think it's going to, with his hands and his ability to go up and get the ball, I think that gives him some deep threat, ability. I think it gives him opens up the middle of the field. I mean, he can run that entire route tree. And as Kenny gets developed and being able to throw that ball from the different hash marks and understand that as he starts to go on, I won't say Hall of Fame just yet, but if he keeps those receivers and the offensive line plays well, I think he can definitely do the job.
Yeah, I like how you kind of sidestep the other reasons why he may not be flourishing as he should be as an offensive coordinator. I know you got to keep it straight with the Steelers brass and all that. We got you. We can say it. You can't. We don't expect it. And it's
I
fine.
can say it now. I can say it now. Listen. I was in media for 6 years, man. 8
See,
years,
I got him.
And
see, I got him in there.
And they used to give it to me all the time. But I think what is missing is the dialogue between quarterback and offensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
If a quarterback can go in there and tell him, this is what I'm feeling. And as he gets more experience, it might be hard coming from a rookie, but just think about Ben Roethlisberger. Ben was able to tell the offensive coordinators that he worked with what's working, what he's comfortable with, what he sees. So as that rapport gets established between Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada, I think the play calling gets better. I think the opportunities increase, so as he gains experience and he's able to really express himself to the offensive coordinator with confidence, I think that improves.
I like it. I like it.
And let's not forget about how other quarterbacks who came into the league who are Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers now. You got Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, when they first came into the league, and they were doing Eli Manning worse than what Kenny Pickett is. Different organizations. You just got to give these guys time.
That you have to develop any relationship that you have. The biggest thing for me, I think, is communication, and it has to come from both sides. Right now, it's coming from one side because Matt Canada has all the experience. He has the authority. He has the power right now. As Kenny comes in there and proves himself like he's doing right now, you think they're not going to listen up to what this young man is saying when he's out there saying, look, I see the safety cheating over. I see this defensive lineman coming in, I know he's about to run a stunt, so I need to get the ball out quicker. I need to do this and this and that. As he starts to recognize that in this game and their rapport gets built up, I think we'll see a world of difference in the play calling.
Beautiful, Mike. We won't keep it too long.
Oh, yeah, I hit the little ones.
We won't keep it too long, but
I just get a score from Mike before he heads out.
Well, we got to talk about the Ravens game really quick. Your thoughts on the Ravens game? I mean, it was is Steeler Raven football. Who knows better than you? You were there many times, and it just you're on the other side of Reed on the other side over there, and competition's tough. But when you get into that battle with the Ravens, what did you see in our victory, and what do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do next week against Cleveland?
There you go.
The best part about that game was just the never give up attitude. As the game was flowing, I mean, people were frustrated. I listened to all the rhetoric on social media about here we go again. Everything's falling into play for us, but we're not handling business. And I'm like, listen, this game is not won in 30 minutes. It's not won in 40 minutes. This particular game and this rivalry is going to come down until the clock hits the 4 zeros. So if you're walking out the stadium, if you're giving up, if you're losing hope before that clock hits the zeros, then you don't know what this rivalry is about, because that's what it's about. We're going to play till the last freaking second of this game because they want to win just as bad as we want to win. It's going to be a physical game. Everything that you think about it is happening in that game. And the way the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to come out and pull that victory going on the road was amazing to me. So, I like where this team is at right now. And if they don't sneak into the playoffs, you still use that momentum going forward into next season, and you take those positives out of it, and you can take a lot out of that game. That game will carry on over to next season for them.
Yeah, it almost looked like the longest yard with the movie with those stupid penalties. They're making up stuff. And then that didn't help. And Boswell, he missing field goals. I mean, like you said, at any point they could have said, you know what, this is our season. It wasn't meant to be, and give up. But they didn't give up because that's the Steeler way.
Right. But think about this. Think about the one play to me that I thought probably changed the entire game. And it was a negative play. It was a penalty on Cam Hayward.
Yep.
For, unnecessary roughness, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, however it played out, they were able to rebound from that. And I know they said that there was a little exchange from, Minka and Cam on the sideline, but that's what it's about. Everything, there's going to be things that happen in that particular game when we play the Ravens that don't happen all year, but they're going to come up in that game. And for that team to be able to overcome that, come down, a rookie leads the come from behind victory at the end of the game. It's storybook, man.
Oh yeah. Hey Mike, you know what? Before you head out, brother, real quick, just give us a score on the game versus the Cleveland Browns. Whether it's good or bad, I got to hear it. I got my headphones on. I'm about to turn you down a little bit.
Well, you know what? For me, the Cleveland game is so big because, I think about the original Browns and, my grandfather worked in the steel mills, and he used to always tell me, listen, if you ever go pro and you play for the Browns, I don't know if I'll be able to root for you. You know what I mean? It was just that deep. So I always, respected that game for what it was. It's hard for me to predict the score right now because of the quarterback situation up in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson just really getting back and getting into his flow of things. I think Cleveland's, this is their Super Bowl regardless. They're going to go out and try to perform and, like I said, use that momentum to go into next season and see what they really have with Deshaun Watson. So if I had to just throw a score out there, this is with no research or anything, just my gut feeling, I think the Steelers pull it out maybe 27-20.
I like that. I
Mike,
like that.
Beautiful. Before we let you go, Mike, we just want to thank you. Taking time away from your family. We appreciate you so much. It's because family's everything. But before we go, I'm going to put you on a spot here. Ravens Steeler game. Who gets the game ball for the Steelers?
Oh, Kenny Pickett.
All right. Wow, that was quick. Wow.
No,
I think I'm going to stop this guy.
So listen, though, you got to think about it. Like, seriously, that rivalry, when we play that game, you know what I mean? It's so many emotions. Like, he could have folded in that game.
Yeah.
And I think about my rookie season, and, I was in Jacksonville at the time and coming home to play Pittsburgh, my nerves were all over the place. I knew I probably couldn't have led that drive down the field, and made that pass. And I'll say real quick, I love the play calling at the end of the game too. How the run was working, they continued to stay with it. And then for Najee to catch a pass from Kenny on the touchdown was just brilliant to me. So like I said, man, that relationship and that rapport is going to increase if Matt Kenda is still the offensive coordinator next year. rapport is going to get established, and I think we'll see greater things from Kenny Pickett.
Hey, Mike, we're getting ready to let you go. Just tell everybody out there who's listening and the people going to be watching the show later, how can they check Mike out? How can they see you? I know you're on Twitter, and I don't know what other outlets and things that you're doing now.
Yes, I'm on social media. I'm on all of the platforms. I'm mlogan at mlogan31. I got a Mike Logan fan page on Facebook. My website is down right now, MikeLogan31.com. This should be back up. I'm doing some group violence intervention with the city of Pittsburgh with a program called Reach, ran by Reverend Grayson. I'm also still doing some mentoring and teaching up at University Prep in the Pittsburgh Public School District. So I'm available. I love to interact with fans on social media, and I'm just now getting back into the swing of things because, like I said, I had a bout with some anxiety that kind of put me in the hole for a little while. But I'm back out there trying to, do my thing and spread some knowledge where I can. So reach out to me on any of those forums.
Oh, we definitely will, Mike. We got your digits, you got ours. We know how to hook up, and you know what? We hope that you had a great New Year and a great Christmas with your family. We'll definitely keep in touch with you. Mike Logan, folks, if you're just checking in, is Mike Logan, former Pittsburgh Steelers Super Bowl champion. Great guy. And we'll keep in touch. Mike, thanks for coming on Steel Nation Live.
Appreciate you having me, man. Prayers up for tomorrow, man. Let's not forget those prayers, man. Let's keep them going.
You got it.
Take care, Mike. Thanks again.
Much love. No doubt.
Guys, that's what it's all about. Like we said, Steeler Nation Live. Bring it on, guys. Championship, guys. You're watching it here. You're watching it here. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. It's all streaming here. I told you, we do it here. And like James said, we've been doing it for a long time. The show continues here on Steeler Nation Live. The night is just starting. Wow. It was a hard thing for us at the beginning, because we had a lot of things that kicked off. And, just like the game last night, it was in a somber mood. And like we said, we talked about Damar Hamlin. And you know what? We have a Bills fan on the line. She's a great girl. She comes on Steeler Nation Live. She's studying to be sports media. So now Anna Nikita, she's done a lot of things with Steeler Nation Live. So we're going to hit her up right now. Anna,
hello.
Yeah.
How are we?
Well, could be better. Could be better. And we all know Anna's a Bills fan.
Yeah.
But yet, you know what? She supports the Steelers as well. I like that. Sometimes you got to have that. And you're watching Joe Montana, jersey in the background there.
I like the Yankee sign too. Yeah. She knows her sports. I'll tell you that right now.
But the thing about it is, I don't know. Were you able to catch the game last night? And how did it affect you as well, being a Bills fan?
I watched the game live last night. Despite being on Steeler Nation, I did wear a Bills jersey tonight because of what happened with Damar Hamlin. Unfortunately, I don't have a Damar Hamlin jersey. I am also a very big combat sports fan. So I have seen some really just gross and awful injuries happen. I've seen scary things that I couldn't bother to watch the replays on. I think this is the scariest thing that I have ever seen happen personally in sports, because the hit looked fine. I'm watching TV and I'm like, what is going on? And he stands back up and just drops. And I've never seen anybody without assistance just drop like that before. I've never seen anything cut away to that many commercial breaks before.
Right.
And I've been doom scrolling all day, trying to look for anything, any updates. And obviously all respect to the family and their privacy in this time. And I'm sure no news is good news.
Right.
But watching that happen and just not knowing is so scary. He's 24. That's a kid. That is a child.
Yeah, that is. It was a scary thing to, like we said, we touched base on it earlier at the beginning of the show, to watch a young guy like this, to watch, him just, doing CPR on the field. I mean, that's, and the Bills were, kudos to everybody. They did the correct thing, stopped the game. Let's worry about him first before we figure out what we're going to do with this game. And that showed you got to have that mental fortitude to say, you know what, this is bigger than the game. The game, the game is made of money, and we all know how people value money. We all know how people will put money above a lot of things, but a human life is a totally different thing. And it was sad to see, but like you said, 24 years old. Let's hope that he, everything works out for him, and that he's, if not back on the field, back into the normalcy of life. That's what I want to see from this guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I thought about you doing that as well, being that you're a Bills fan. But yet, here's a more important thing. I shouldn't say more important thing. That was a misspoke on my part. But here's the thing that I wanted to touch base with you on as well. And we talked offline a little bit about it, is the fact that the Steelers right now, they're going through their emotional packs as well of trying to get things right. I don't know. I know your dad watched the game that night. Your dad texted me a couple of times during the game. He was a little upset or whatever, but I had to calm him down and see that the Steelers won the game over Baltimore. What were your thoughts on that game versus Baltimore, which was a huge game and a huge win for the Steelers?
Well, my dad was texting me during that game too, and he was complaining. But as the game went on, I thought it was kind of a slower, kind of shaky start. I wasn't doubting. However, I was uncertain in the moment. I'll put it that way. I was like, I don't know. I would love for them to get it together a little faster. Chris Boswell missing another field goal. Don't even get me started. I can't. But yeah. I think they finally pulled together, and I was really happy with what I saw in the second half of that game. And shout out to Najee Harris, because without him, mayhaps the game would have been a foregone conclusion when he basically picked up Kenny Pickett and redirected him on that third.
I forgot about that play. She's right.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have gotten it if Najee Harris didn't come in and go, oh, there you go.
That's funny. I forgot about that. That's true.
It's a new thing. And you got to look back at Ben Roethlisberger, all the games that we lost, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, when all you got to do is quarterback sneak. I think we're almost at, 100% every time that Pickett sneaks.
Yeah, every time.
And then when they think we're going to sneak it, we do that little that jet sweep, and it's working. It's working.
Yeah. But the thing about it is, can it be enough? Now, the Steelers got this upcoming Sunday game, huge game.
Yeah.
And I want to get your thoughts on the Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns in Pittsburgh. Finally, we're back home to end the season. What are your thoughts? Give us a true score on what you think this game is going to be.
I do have thoughts. Unfortunately, I did not factor my personal bias into account when I accounted for the score. I'm still taking the Steelers. I have them 2017 over the Browns. I think that the defense and offense both starting to kind of click for the Steelers and getting a little stronger. And Kenny Pickett's confidence, that last drive was amazing. I was so happy watching it.
Let's not forget, back-to-back come from behind wins.
Exactly.
So, this kid is just, I think what he's doing is that he's not thinking. He's just going out there and doing. And once you start thinking, that's when you make mistakes, like he did in the Jets game, the Dolphins game, where instead of throwing the ball away, he could have ran it for a first down, possibly a touchdown against the Dolphins, or the interception and against the Jets. He could have ran it in. And just when you start second guessing yourself and start thinking and not doing, and I believe that's where he's coming around. Against the Raiders, he did. And against the Ravens, he did. And we come out victorious. And this is going to be a tough, people don't understand, this is going to be a tough game. Number one, it's going to be a division rival. Cleveland is out. They're out. They have nothing to lose but to take Pittsburgh down with them.
Yep.
So, and for us to get to the playoffs, we need the Bills to beat the Patriots, which is going to happen, and the Jets to beat the Dolphins. And the same thing in that division goes as well with the Jets. They're out. They have nothing better to do but to knock the Dolphins out as well. And that's very helpful to us. We just have to, own up to our end of the bargain and win the game. And I think with the confidence level that you said about Kenny Pickett and the rest of the offense, in the O-line, nobody's talking about the O-line. Without the O-line, that Najee Harris isn't running. Kenny Pickett's not back there being able to throw the ball. So kudos goes out to the offensive line who's finally gelling. Yeah, it took him all season. Took him 16 games.
They got there.
Yeah, right.
But you know what? And it's just something that you want to build on to next year and the draft where we get, some depth in the O-line and linebacker help, and possibly that corner. Who knows? They're talking about Joey Porter's son is going to be a first-round pick with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, I'm liking that, but you know what? It is what it is. But Yeah. So it's good. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a tough game. And we're going to talk about the score later. But we got to get a hold of we got to your special guest. We got to give him a shout in about 2 seconds.
Yeah. So Anna, like we said, you are phenomenal. Like I said, guys, make sure you check her out. Anna Nikita. Anna, could you let them know some handles anywhere they can check you out, anything on social media?
Yes, I'm on Sport Twitter. Look at me go. My username is just AG Nikita. They spelled my last name on here. You'll find it.
Let me get it up there for you. There we go.
There it is. AG Nikita. There we are.
Gotcha. Hey, guys, like we said, another phenomenal show with her stopping by the show. She's going to be a natural, and as she progresses, you're going to see it here, and you're first seeing it here on Still a Nation Live. So, Anna, thanks again. Another great week with you. Hopefully, we see you in for the finale. I shouldn't say the finale, but the finale before the playoffs.
Right.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I look forward to coming back next week and congratulating you on your playoff berth. Because God willing, the Bills play, they're beating the Patriots.
That's what I'm saying.
With the way Miami's been, Skylar Thompson season, I don't know. So I look forward to congratulating you next week. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure as always.
You know it. Anna Nikita, thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Anna. Like we said, guys, another great show, another great time. And we're still rolling tonight here on Still a Nation Live. We don't stop. What I told you, we don't stop. And matter of fact, we got a huge call that we got to make. And we had to make the call tonight, which is fine. But the thing about it is, it's going to be a guy that you never thought that we'd have on the show.
We had him on before.
Yeah, we had him on before, but not on the video side of the show.
Not a video side.
Right. So we're setting up, we're queuing up the call right now. So
stand by and just wait for our next special guest, Frenchie Fuqua.
Exactly.
Of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And for those of you who haven't been born yet or have no idea, just recently, the 50th year anniversary of the Immaculate Reception with Franco Harris, that Frenchie Fuqua, number 33, was the intended target of this pass, was knocked away. Franco picked up the ball, ran it in for a touchdown. We went on and beating the Raiders 13-6 to go into the playoffs. And that's when the dynasty began, with the Pittsburgh Steelers winning 4 Super Bowls during that tenure, during that era. But yeah, Frenchie is, like I said, he's been on the show before.
Yeah.
And we're just dialing up right now, and hopefully we'll get him on.
Yep. So like I said, this is going to be a huge one, guys. Hey, I think we do have him on the line there.
John, Frenchie Fuqua, this is James and Sanders from Steeler Nation Live. We got you live here, Frenchie.
Is this Frenchie Fuqua? There you go.
Hey. He's not coming through.
Okay.
Yeah. Just this is Steeler Nation Live, Frenchie. Steeler Nation Live. Radio show.
Let's see. There we go. Are you on there, French? Okay, there you go.
Beautiful.
You couldn't hear us. All right.
Okay.
Nice. Now, a little technical difficulty. We got you here. So,
okay, hold on. Let me cut the slow TV down.
Guys, that's what I'm saying. What it's all about here on Still a Nation Live, bringing you it.
Okay, that's better. Okay, I'm ready now.
All right, Frenchie Fuqua, former Pittsburgh. There you go. We got the highlights on the show right now. If you're watching it with Franco, and we talked about, we had you on the show before, Frenchie, and a lot of people are asking, the obvious question: did you or did you not touch that football? Did it bounce off of you or not?
Okay, now I don't want you to tell nobody else this. All right.
All right.
I'll never tell.
There you have it, folks. But if you're one of them science guys and you have half a brain, there's absolutely no way that if Frenchie would have hit that ball, it's back to Franco's hands. But anyways, Frenchie, you great friends with Franco Harris, and the 50th anniversary was just last week, And unfortunately, a hero passed away. His life ended way too soon. Your thoughts on your good pal, your teammate, your friend, your brother, Franco Harris.
I was able to make it to the funeral. I did get out there. I brought my 3 sons with me, and not only a teammate but a friend I lost. Um, I still feel a loss in my heart. I think about them, like every other hour, and yeah, I lost a legend, a friend, and a teammate, and Pittsburgh lost a hero.
Exactly. He, you and him, and by the hand of Terry Bradshaw and God, put us on the map to a dynasty. And you, I mean, he was throwing it to you, and I'm telling you, you catch that ball, I'm pretty sure that you would have done. But unfortunately, by the hand of God, he graced Franco with that and made him a legend. And he just picked up from that. He just carried on the torch and made himself better and better and better.
Well, one thing about him, for all of his career, he made big plays, and probably that was the biggest. Being in the right place at the right time, being aware, catching that ball, and it was amazing not only for him but for the team.
Yeah.
Because that kind of boosted us to go on and do better things, win the division, and eventually the Super Bowls that followed.
Yeah. Hey, Frenchie, also, you know what? We got a lot of fans on. We got a lot of people online checking us out. One of the things I want to ask you real quick, and I had a picture up here. What was it? You would dress guys out there in the 70s, bro.
Okay.
Fresh dress Frenchie.
And you know what? Where'd you get the term that you called yourself? I believe the Count?
The Count.
Yes.
Well, when I was in college, a lot of my teammates screwed up my last name. And you can imagine what they called me instead of Fuqua.
Oh, boy.
Okay? And to cut it short, I went with the Frenchie, but I still wanted it, my Fuqua. And I kept it, but you notice my nickname is Frenchie.
Right.
Whereas my given name is John.
Yep.
And it just, for me, it was to stop a lot of embarrassment and the pronunciation of my name, especially when people meant no harm.
Right. Oh.
Now, there were those who called my last name something else, but that was on purpose.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine that back in the day.
Yeah, that's to try to set you off. I hear you.
Yeah, so Frenchie, who was your biggest competition on the team as far as the best dress? Was it Elsie Greenwood? Was it Mean Joe? Who gave you competition when you guys got dressed up and went out?
I think it was Elsie Greenwood.
Yeah.
Wow.
Elsie Greenwood, number one, man, but he couldn't get into anything because of the size of his body.
Oh, yeah.
He was a big dude, yeah.
Yes, he was. But you see, the key that got him is when I came out with my goldfish shoes.
Yes.
That blew him off.
Yes.
That's what I want to talk about. Because last time I remember talking to you, you started telling us about your gold. This guy had the goldfish shoes. When I told you he was one of the friends back in the day.
And I can tell you one other thing. The hardest thing was keeping them alive in the heel of my foot.
Oh, man.
That was the trip.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So what was Chuck Knowles' thought about the dress and the attire?
Well, the only thing that he would do when he came in and when he saw my count outfit, the skin tight lavender jumpsuit, the floor-length cape, the white pink collar belt, the musketeer hat. He came over to me. I thought he was going to get on me. And all he did was shake his head and smile.
So let me ask you, Freddie, who was your inspiration? Was it just something that you created? Or was there somebody flashed at it, you said, you know what, I could do this better?
Well, no, it was a competition with the team. L.C. Greenwood, Sam Davis, even at one time, Terry Bradshaw tried to get sharp.
What?
And
I believe it.
yeah, it was, and it was a lot of players. And we had a favorite store that we used to go to in Pittsburgh, our father's son boutique. A lot of us made purchases there, but more so on the road.
Yeah.
But the one thing was to see us go to another town. And, the first day, you have a short practice and you got free time. A lot of us would go shopping, looking for different things. And we did that. And we tried to hide it, not let anybody see. And that's what you would wear the following week. But I had a connection, a New York connection. And I got weird stuff. I mean, even goldfish shoes. I got a phone call from New York one day. The guy said, Frenchie, I've seen some of your clothes that you've been wearing. I got something that will blow everyone away. I said, oh, yeah, what's that? He said, some goldfish shoes. I couldn't imagine that.
Man.
And I took it to be just some BS. But 1 week later, he sent them to me.
Goldfish
and I
shoes.
said, wow, I've never seen anything like this. Plus, the shoes made me 6'1". And I tested them. I put fish in them. But the fish would die in an hour.
Oh my God.
And I said, oh wow, well maybe I can just put them in the last moment. So what I did, even with the dress off, I carried the fish in a bag, put them in the refrigerator, in the training room, and when we had our dress off, I would take them out. But the fish never lived. They all died.
Folks, you can't make this up, folks. This is Steel Nation Live. If you're just tuning in right now, we have live with us the man, Frenchie Fuqua, the Immaculate Reception, 50-year anniversary Steeler. Franco Harris getting the ball off of Frenchie, running 30 yards for a touchdown, beat them damn Oakland Raiders to go into the playoffs there at Three Rivers Stadium. For you kids out there who only know Acrisure or Heinz Field, Three Rivers Stadium, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Frenchie Fuqua.
Oh, Frenchie,
Live.
also, I want to touch base real quick with you, brother. I believe I seen you. I believe I seen you on TV on Pittsburgh that night of the 50th anniversary. I believe it was the Sunday night game. I thought I seen you on there. Were you down there in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I came down in for that. I flew in.
Yeah, Merry Christmas too, right?
I was on the field. Did you see me swinging my terrible towel?
Yeah, I saw that. I think you almost hit. Who did you almost hit? Who did you almost hit in the head? I was thinking that looked on purpose.
Well, look, I mean, going in that stadium, it just brought back so many memories. And for me, that's my second home, Pittsburgh. And it brought back so many memories, both good and bad.
Oh, sure.
But it's a day that I'll savor forever.
Oh, absolutely. And when we have you on our show, Frenchie, we savor that forever. Yeah. It is such an honor for you to be on our show and even conversating with you. A lot of Steeler fans out there would be dying to talk to you and sit down, have a conversation with you. And you're in our living room right now. In fact, you're in everybody's living room right now who is in tune to the show right now. And is there anything that you want to tell these Steeler fans out there about the Pittsburgh Steelers right now?
Well, we're going places.
Hey, I love it.
And like, more important, just keep the faith, baby. Keep the faith.
Wow. That's what it's all about.
Like, it is. And like, you know, we got a good team. And like, hey, that football can bounce several different ways. But don't give up on us.
Right.
By any means.
Absolutely. And there you have it, folks. Frenchie Fuqua. Thank you, Frenchie, for coming in to the studio one more time. We appreciate you taking the time out. And wow, you're a gentleman and a scholar and a football hero and a legend to me, at least, and a lot of people out there listening who love the Pittsburgh Steelers. And thank you so much for coming on the show, Frenchie. We really, 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 really appreciate you.
Well, I love you in Pittsburgh. Love you guys. See you soon.
You got it, Frenchie.
That's
all
where
right.
it's at.
Nice.
Like I said, every time when Frenchie comes on, man, this guy, listen to this dude, man. I mean, this guy is old school and is bringing it back, brother. I
With
mean,
style.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just old school. Folks, we implore you to look him up. If you're a Steeler fan for the past 15, 20 years, you love the Steelers, look into some of the glory days of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, look into it. You with all these Googles, and you can look everybody up and everything like that, you know, and just look up Frenchie Fuqua if you guys are like, well, who's this guy?
Oh,
you know, it's just a freaking legend. And you know what? We ran out of time, but we got a few seconds to talk about the Cleveland Brown game really quick, Sanders.
Yep.
I'm telling you, this is a do or die for the Cleveland Browns. They're playing on pride. So it's not like they're gonna come into Pittsburgh and sit down. They're gonna give us, it's gonna be a fight. I think it's gonna be a lot tougher than the Ravens game. So, you know, because the Ravens are already in the playoffs, they're a wild card. They were playing on pride as well, but you know, they're in the playoffs. Now the Browns have the opportunity to knock us out of the playoffs and bring back down to their level, and also to stop Mike Tomlin from having consecutive winning seasons on the record. My opinion about that, folks, if you don't win a Super Bowl, I don't care what your record is, it's a losing season. So with that being said, I really think it's going to be a mediocre scoring game. I really think it's going to be Pittsburgh Steelers 17, Cleveland Browns 9. That's my score, 17-9 Pittsburgh, and we're going to the playoffs.
What? I like that part. I like that part.
17-9.
Now I'm looking at it more or less like Anna Nikita, who was just on the show just a minute ago. I'm thinking like a 20-17 or 20-14 game. If the Steelers can do what they did in this game versus the Baltimore Ravens, who's a more heavy run team out there with the huge line they have, if they can shut that down. I don't know if a lot of you guys realize it out there. I think we're slowly watching the ending of Devin Bush being in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, because you know they brought in the a rookie linebacker Mark Robinson, I believe.
Yep.
He was in the game and performed well. Made the first tackle out the box. Devin Bush, the first time I seen him in a game, he got burned by Andrews for the tight end for the Ravens for a first down for 14, 15 yards, maybe a close to a first down.
Yeah.
So I believe this is the last time we'll see Devin in a Steelers uniform, and it's sad because at one time he's a number one pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
High hopes.
But like Mike Tomlin always said, next man up. Next man up, next man play, next man perform, next man take it to the level we're supposed to be, and you'll find yourself in that spot. Of course, Mark Robinson, he's a 7th round selection for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's starting now. What kind of stuff is that? But that's the way it goes. You play well, you play hard, you play all out, and you end up starting. But I'll say, like I said, the Steelers going to win this game. I believe it's like a 20-17 or 20-14 type score for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if they control that run game and try to force and wreak havoc, and I believe this is a game where TJ gets back into that groove. He's had a long where he was doing well, but he was kind of confined. I believe this is where he gets unleashed, and they're all over Watson. So I believe the Steelers can win this game. It could be a huge one for the Pittsburgh Steelers, James.
Yeah,
and like you said,
into
the playoffs, I'm saying.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's going to get 17 points and a couple massages. can only hope.
Oh boy. So guys, on that note, we want to thank you guys for letting us come into your living room, letting us come over your phone, letting us come in there and talk to you, bringing in guests. We want to thank Mike Logan, former defensive back for the Pittsburgh Steelers and also Super Bowl champion. And we also want to thank Anna Nikita for stopping by the show and giving us her thoughts. And also, like we said, tonight's show was full. We also want to thank Frenchie Football for stopping by, the legend. He started it 50 years ago here on Steeler Nation Live for the Pittsburgh Steelers with the immaculate reception for Franco Harris.
And we want to dedicate this show to Damar Hamlin and his family and the Buffalo Bills organization. Prayers still going out to you guys. We dedicate this show in your honor.
We see you next week
on Steeler Nation Love.